Hi, I'm Robert F. Lyons, and you are watching The Red Booth.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. Welcome to The Red Booth Show. On tonight's episode, I have the legendary actor Robert F. Lyons. He talks about the projects that he's been in over the many years and interesting actors that he's worked with.
I'm really an authentic guy.
You listen to me, man. We've got enemies. This ain't no free ride.
Innocent. I don't want you to get hurt.
Hurt him, don't hurt him.
You who, sir? I've come to take my physical.
Sure, honey, sure. Back there with the rest of the fags.
Or the spring house.
The barracks are for unmarried women only.
Oh, that's the way I prefer. Hell, the only married lady I ever went with was my wife.
So come and join us. Hello, Robert. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
I'm so honored to have you here today in the booth.
Thank you.
Yes, you are a veteran actor. You've been acting for quite a while, and I would love to know, when was your first acting gig?
Well, I did stage before I did television and films.
Oh, okay.
Because I studied in New York. I'm from upstate New York. And then New York City, I spent a lot of time in, many years, 8 years about. And I did off-Broadway, off-Broadway, a Broadway show, and what they call jobbing or moving around. Summer stock, which people out here don't know what that is.
Summer stock, what does that mean?
Yeah. Places like Canton, Connecticut, where you go and you put on 10 plays during the summer, and the neighboring area comes and see plays. And they'll bring name actors in to do the star role, and you have a company there that does all the other roles.
That's very cool.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm guessing you probably started doing plays when you were in high school.
No, actually, I didn't until I got out of high school. We didn't do plays. I went to an all-boys military high school.
Oh man, that must have been
Yeah, it was a drag.
intense, right?
A drag. It was
Yeah.
a drag. No, we had proms and we did things like that, but we had no theater. And the senior year that I was in school, we didn't do a play that year, so I couldn't even get going on the acting. Excuse me. I kept the idea of being an actor a secret anyway. It wasn't something I was yelling about and bragging about that I was going to try out.
I'm sure in a military school, that's not necessarily their focus.
No. But this was high school.
Yeah.
It was a military high school in my hometown of Albany. And I went directly from there to New York City and went right into drama school and started kicking around, getting night jobs to have my days free to look for work.
With the intention of doing acting.
Yes, always.
Wow, so you already knew that's what you wanted to do.
Somehow I knew I wanted to do it. It was the only thing I wanted to do. I wasn't a great student because I had no interest. I was interested in the arts and I didn't even know that I was. It was just something that I wanted to do. And my parents backed me. I had great parents.
Thanks to your parents.
Yeah, they were.
Awesome
They were
parents,
yeah,
yeah.
they were. Absolutely. And because it's such a kick when you start doing television and they're turning on and seeing
Their son.
Oh my God, he's actually doing it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Okay, so when was the first time that you got a TV show part, like a part on a show?
I think the very first television show I did out here was with, it was called The Loner.
Cool.
And it was a half-hour Western. Back then, out here in the 60s, there were a lot of Westerns on. There
Well,
must
you
have
had the Clint Eastwood spaghetti stuff, right?
Yeah, I think that was a little later. A little later that he went to Italy and did all of those wonderful feature films. These were television.
So this is before he did all that.
I think so. He did a Western series himself. I forget what it was, not The Rifleman. I forget what the title was. So he was on a Western series. And those films that he did in Italy, they came later on, a little later on. but there was like
I'm getting schooled, guys. Getting schooled.
Well, they had Gunsmoke. They had.
Okay, I know about Gunsmoke. I
Okay.
definitely have seen some episodes of Gunsmoke.
That was one of my biggest parts. My first big show was Gunsmoke.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and Bonanza, I did that.
Of course, Bonanza.
And there were others that I didn't do. There was many, many westerns back then.
Bonanza was huge, and so was Gunsmoke, actually.
Yeah, actually, Bonanza was the first color show on television.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was black and white at first, and then they went to color. But that was the first episodic television show that went to color.
What was it like being on a show where it went from being black and white to color? Was there any like difference on set or different way they approached it?
No, I think the excitement was that these were shows that I would watch with my dad, and then to be doing it, you know, as a kid. I was, you know, my younger days doing westerns or doing shows like that I had seen. Gunsmoke, everyone saw Gunsmoke, you know. So it was just wonderful. It was just wonderful. I don't know that when you're filming, you don't know the difference whether it's black and white or color. And there has been so much evolution in the technical aspects of filming, especially in lighting. I mean, it's wonderful now. And
I mean, I'm just thinking that the you know, black and white had a different type of style of lighting back then, and so even probably they didn't worry about colors as much because they'd be like, oh, it's all fine on black and white.
yeah, I do know that it's quite a difference. Particularly, it was film, and now it's digital.
Right.
So, and before that there was tape. So these were all evolutionary techniques and technical renditions of it. Film was different. Film is still different.
Very different.
And, yeah, you got to cut it up and.
It's a lot harder.
Yeah.
Well, actually, on that note, we need to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Robert F. Lyons.
I really wanted to put a deck on my house.
The floor was creaking, and there were cracks in the wall.
I had them put in walls in my basement.
Well, the whole thing was done on time, on budget, and not a day of work was missed.
Alpha Structural is a top-rate company. I'd recommend them to anybody.
If you live in a hillside home and gravity is pulling you towards the edge of the cliff, I recommend you call Alpha.
It was a real pleasure to work with Alpha.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
And welcome back to the show. We are here with Bobby Lyons. How's it going?
It's going fine. We were talking about westerns, so I wanted to mention I did co-star with Gregory Peck
Ooh.
in a western. I played the bad guy, the outlaw, in a film called Shootout. And we shot it in Northern California, Bishop or Mammoth, and mostly at Universal Studios. He's a great guy, a great man, and it was just a lot of fun.
Did you like playing the bad guy or the good guy better?
You know, you get asked that a lot, but usually actors will tell you playing the bad guy is more interesting because there's many more colors, and you usually get to do events on film that are a little more exciting because you're the bad guy. You know, you shoot and you do things. You know.
True.
Right. And back then, you had to learn how to ride a horse.
You don't have to do that now?
Well, you do if you do a Western, but they're not doing all the Westerns. You see, when there were like 20 of them on TV at one time, you had to know how to
Ride a horse.
ride a horse. But you see, when you're studying acting in New York in the studio, you don't have to dive off diving boards, which I've done. You don't have to ride a horse or a motorcycle. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So all of the stage acting you learn is really good acting for relationships and understanding the plot. In Hollywood, you got to learn how to drive every vehicle. You have to ride horses, dive off diving boards, and things like of that nature, and incorporate that into your learning of how to act and then act with these other things.
So did you have to learn how to, for example, ride a motorcycle for a show or a movie?
Yeah, I did Chips. I did 2 Chips.
Oh, I remember Chips. That's awesome.
And I was a guy that owned a motorcycle shop. In fact, one of the Chips I did, Bruce Jenner played my younger brother. I guess that's cool to say.
Wow. I did not even know that he was in Chips ever.
Yeah, he did. There was a period there where they were having a little, I guess, negotiation problems, and he took over while Eric and they were working out their thing. So he did, I guess, 2 or 3 of them. I don't know.
So that would be a totally different scenario nowadays.
Yeah.
With your little sister, I guess, right?
I don't know. Oh no, I didn't think we were going to go there. Right? Oh boy. Okay, but it's true. He played my younger brother.
Wow.
He's a nice guy. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh no.
Oh, we don't have to talk about that. It's totally fine.
Oh God, I haven't seen him in 30 years. So what do I know?
He seems like a nice guy. Hey, there you go.
Oh, this can't go on the air. No,
This is hard.
We're gonna get fined.
We're gonna see.
Oh no, I can just see it.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
So I've done other things. I only did 1 feature film of a Western back in those days, But I did college films. I played characters, There's a great movie called Getting Straight, which is one of my favorites. And I did play a killer, which was based on a real guy.
Oh, true story?
Yeah.
Which one?
It was called Todd Killings, but it was from a book called The Pied Piper of Tucson, and it was about a real guy, Charles Schmidt, I think it was his name, and he just had a bad habit of killing girls. So I think he got killed in prison. I didn't meet him. I didn't get to talk to him when we were prepping for it, but it was a very intense, very it's a strong film. Got great reviews. And it was good work. I felt pleasant about the outcome of the film.
Did you have to study him a lot as a character?
Not really. When you study a script, that's the character. You've learned how to pull a character out of the suggestions of other people and the community where a person has grown up. The environment that they have had is, for me, a big step in getting a hold of the character, what he's about, how he talks, how he moves, and
Yeah, actually, Robert does he does teaching. You do teach acting.
I teach. Oh, yeah. I've got about 6 or 7 people on television series as regulars right now as we speak.
Wow.
Which is nice, They started with me, and now they're continuing on their careers. I love it.
That's amazing. Well, you obviously have a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience to pull from, so
Thank you.
they're lucky students, I would have to say.
Thank you very much.
All right, and we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back.
All right.
I really wanted to put a deck on my house.
The floor was creaking, and there were cracks in the wall.
I had them put in walls in my basement.
Well, the whole thing was done on time, on budget, and not a day of work was missed.
Alpha Structural is a top-rate company. I'd recommend them to anybody.
If you live in a hillside home and gravity is pulling you towards the edge of the cliff, I recommend you call Alpha.
It was a real pleasure to work with Alpha.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it,
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got, or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, babe.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
And welcome back to the Red Booth Show. We are here with the legendary Robert F. Lyons, and we've been talking about some of the projects that he's done over the many years of his awesome career. And I know that you also were in the show called Magnum P.I., which, by the way, was one of my mom's favorites, and I think she was a big fan. And I loved the show, too. It was really fun.
Oh, it was a great show to shoot. These are the perks of acting is they send you to Hawaii. That's where that was filmed. And it's like a vacation. So sometimes we got vacations with work. You know, it's like, I worked with Jackie Cooper once, who was grew up in this business, and he used to say when we were working, "This beats work." And I think any work that you love, you don't feel it's like, oh, I've got to do it, or it's an effort. There's a certain joy in it, and fun, and you just love to do the work. You know, so yeah, I worked with Tom was cool. He's got a different series going now. He plays a cop in Blue Bloods, I think, out of New York.
Right, Tom Selleck. He's one of the main characters in Blue Bloods.
He is the drawing card, I think you call it.
Oh, yes, my mom, I'm sure, needs to check that show out too, as well. Actually, I have a poster of him in my house because Quigley Down Under, he was one of the stars.
Yes.
That's right.
Right. Yes.
You've met so many interesting actors over the years. What was one of your favorite actors to work with?
Gary Oldman.
Oh my God, I love Gary Oldman.
Yeah, no, he's quite a guy. He's funny. He's one of a very intelligent man, great sense of humor, and he loves to work with good actors. I mean, he likes to play, and he's not selfish or anything like that. I just adore Gary.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's a terrific guy. Charlie Durning, who I've worked with, Charles Durning, but I knew him in New York. I had met him, very dear friend, and most actors, it's most like a family. When you get on the set and you start playing and you act and you see what somebody's going to do and you exchange with that. Directors like it and actors like it, and it comes out good.
That's great. What kind of advice do you have for people who are interested in becoming an actor?
Try plumbing. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry for that joke. I just think if you have it in your heart, do it. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to people go, oh, it's hard, or the odds. It has nothing to do with that. If you listen to them too long, before you know it, you're allowing the environment to make you small. You have to find that in yourself and believe in it and go for it, no matter what. And if you keep going, there is no such thing as failure. You know, it's like I listen to some actors sometimes and they're so down, well, it ought to be this and it ought to be that. It's not what it ought to be. It is what it is, and that's what you have to overcome. That's what you have to go through. You say, well, my agent doesn't work for me. Well, then get a different agent. What are you staying with him if he's not being an agent? I mean, get simple, get direct, get deliberate, and see what's in front of you and see what it takes to overcome any obstacles that you consider. But the main one is don't listen to people who are down in the mouth about this business. Just don't do it. They'll kill you.
That's great advice. I love it so much. I fully agree.
Well, I had a student once who was coming in every week. I said, what's happening? He said, I was up for a nice job. I didn't get it. And he did this for 2 or 3 weeks in a row. And I started to think about it. And I came in and I said, listen, do me a favor. Next time you are up for a role, don't get with your buddies and talk about it. Don't even call your mother. I said, just do your work. He came in next week. I nailed it. I said, what changed? He said, I didn't tell anyone. So you see how people around that go, oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, you know.
Don't even tell him, Ewan.
Listen, it happened to me. A good friend once said, "You got to see that casting director. She is such a blah blah blah." And I didn't think it affected me. And I walk in the room, and the first thing she says is, "Bobby, it's so good to see you." So if someone's problem, don't make it yours. It's theirs.
Great advice. All right, we're going to have to take another quick break, and we'll be right back with Robert F. Lyons.
I really wanted to put a deck on my house.
The floor was creaking, and there were cracks in the wall.
I had them put in walls in my basement.
Well, the whole thing was done on time, on budget, and not a day of work was missed.
Alpha Structural is a top-rate company. I'd recommend them to anybody.
If you live in a hillside home and gravity is pulling you towards the edge of the cliff, I recommend you call Alpha.
It was a real pleasure to work with Alpha.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it,
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got, or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
And welcome back to the Red Booth Show. We are here with the legendary Robert F. Lyons.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Well deserved.
Thank you. In the break, we were talking about writing, and I did write an acting book, and I do have a children's book, believe it or not, called Polar Dog, which
Nice.
are on Amazon and what's that other one? Barnes and Noble.
Cool.
And a little acting book, which helps. I've gotten some very good notices on it, and very good notices on the children's book. It's
When
just
did you
fun.
start writing?
I've been writing for a long time, and I sold a screenplay. It's
Very cool.
Thank you.
That's
yes,
no easy
very
thing
cool.
to do.
No, it isn't. I was surprised because I wrote like what I call a script where you're just making your thing, and somebody wanted to take an option on it, and they did, and they sold it, and then it became something else, and then 10 other writers went out. But I was paid very well, and I do have others ready to go, and I'm just looking at that. I'd love to write.
Other screenplays you have?
Yeah, screenplays.
Are they
and,
based on, are they like fictional, or is there certain genres that you like to go after?
Yeah, it has a lot to do with the imagination and creating. It's a fun script. It has a lot of funny in it, and it has a lot of seriousness too. The one I'm talking about, it's called The Big Build-Up, about two guys trying to shoot a film. They know nothing about it, and somehow it sells. The big
That
build-up
sounds awesome.
is in how you build up to the climax of a scene or something like that. So very funny, and I hope to get that one on.
Well, I'm sure you will.
Thank you.
What was probably one of your favorite things to do as an actor, like favorite scenes or situations you were in?
There's a film I did with Elliot Gould, Richard Rush directed, called The Getting Straight. And there's a 5-minute scene where I laugh continuously for about half of it.
What? Are you playing it like a patient or something?
No, he's a little high on drugs.
Oh, okay.
It's a college film.
Was this in the 60s? Because
yes,
it was.
Late 60s,
Ding.
yes, it was. It was. We filmed it up in Eugene, Oregon in 1969. And the way I got to laugh, because laughing sometimes on film is not easy to do. But we got this guy that stood off camera for me. I started laughing just thinking about it. He would just stand there for me and look through a window while I was doing the scene. So I'm looking at him the whole time I was doing the scene with Elliot, and he's just staring through this window. And I was hysterical about it. But it worked, and it got me going in an emotion way and in a laughing way that was necessary for the scene. But it's a hysterical scene in Getting Straight. It's the highlight for me in that film.
That's amazing. So for 10 minutes you did it.
Well, no, it's a 5-minute scene. But
Okay.
then we did different takes, and it worked all the time. Sometimes you do that. You improvise in film, and you get somebody to do something off stage or say something that either makes you angry or makes you laugh just before a shot. And then you carry it right into the moment in the film, and it's captured on film.
What would be an example of something would you come up with and be like, hey, say this to me so I get angry?
Well, anger's not so difficult. Getting the laughter going sometimes when you have to.
Right.
See,
and
then
it's
you
not
get
funny.
serious, and then it's not funny.
Yeah.
And trying to be funny, it's not funny. Everyone has their own little things that to them have a humorous quality to it and can get you laughing. I actually teach about it, and it's just one of those things. You gotta know how to go about that. And I'm not going to give secrets away.
Fine, don't give secrets away. By the way, I really love your scene where you're kind of playing the bad guy, and it's like a gangster movie.
Gangster Chronicles.
Gangster Chronicles.
I played Legs Diamond, who actually was shot and killed in my hometown, Albany, New York.
Really?
Sure, we used to go by Dove Street and say, that's where Legs got it, you know? It was 63 Dove Street, Albany, New York. Legs Diamond, a famous gangster. He was shot there. And then I got to play him in that series called
Who
Gangster
would've thunk?
Chronicles. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, Gangster Chronicles, and they had several other big gangsters in that series.
Yeah, all the big name gangsters, but it was with Michael Murray, Joe Penny, Brian Ben played these famous other gangsters in it, 20s, 30s guys, bad boys.
So much fun.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I could keep talking to you probably for the rest of my whole month. Actually, I think we need to definitely have you back on the show.
Thank you.
To tell some more stories.
Okay.
But it's been wonderful having you here, and I hope you guys enjoyed our talk.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for watching Robert F. Lyons on
The Red Booth.